Alright, so I'd like to continue where I left off. Now we're going to be doing using layers and filters in GIMP. Alright, so as a review of last time, I already have a photograph open. I want to crop it, so I'm going to grab the crop tool. I'm going to crop this down to something a little bit smaller. So probably in there. I might like to include my arm. Maybe just that much of it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hit enter, and then I'm going to duplicate the layer, and then I want to see, I thought that I could lock it. Let's see, does it let me lock? Merge down, delete. No, I can't really lock it, but I'm going to see file, edit. That just allows me to change the name of it. No. Alright, so in any case, I have duplicated the layer by clicking on this icon here. It says create a duplicate of the layer and add it to the image. I am currently in my layers mode. This would be the channels mode, paths mode, history mode, and then brush editor mode. So I'm going to be on this layer here, and the first thing that I want to do is go to colors and curves. I like to use curves over brightness contrast, because curves allows you to adjust the kind of brightness and darkness of a photograph without adding a gray image to it. So I'm going to cancel that for just a second, because I have a layer that is visible on top, so we're not able to see the preview that's going on. So I'm going to close this, or hide it, by clicking on that eyeball, and then go to colors again, curves, and then this time you should start to see a change in the photograph. So I'm just kind of brightening it up a bit by grabbing the curve bar, and then I'm going to start to tone it back down. Hopefully without changing the colors too much, and you can do multiple points here to kind of clean up the image if you'd like, or kind of brighten it or darken it up. Yeah, pretty happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and say OK. That's going to keep the change, and so this is what it looked like before. This is what it looks like now. It's a little bit brighter. And so I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so now again, still on this photograph, I'm going to go to colors again, and I'm going to desaturate it. I want it to be black and white, and you can kind of play around with this, and I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to go ahead and say OK. And so again, this was what the original photograph looked like, and after doing curves and desaturating it, it's looking like that. Okay. By the way, this is my darling American bulldog, and her name is Tanaya. And so now what I want to do is go ahead and make a couple copies of that layer, hide this layer, and then come to this layer, and every time you highlight a layer, that is the layer that you are doing the effects to, that you are making adjustments with. So I'm going to go to filters, I'm going to go to artistic, and the first one I want to do is photocopy. And so I'm going to kind of make this a little bit smaller. I think I do control minus, you can see. No. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So you can kind of change the sharpness here. I kind of like that. Mask radius. That's going to bring up some darker colors in there. Percent black. Let's see. I'm not seeing much of adjustment to that one. Percent white. That's toning it down a little bit. Let's make it a little bit darker. And let's say, let's see, yeah, see different details here. That was her eye, and then her nose. Let's see what happens. Okay, so okay. Alright, so that's what the photograph looks like using the filter artistic and photocopy. Okay, one of the things that I want you to see with that is I can go to a right click and edit layer attributes, and I can call this artistic, and this was photocopy, and this was black and white, with black in the foreground, white in the background. I'm going to say OK. It's going to keep the title that I just gave it. I'm going to go down to here, and I'm going to swap these colors by clicking on this arrow here. So now that white is in the foreground, black is in the background, and I'm going to use the same exact filter, artistic and photocopy, and I'm going to see if this does what I think it's going to do, and it should flip it. No, I guess in Photoshop it actually does the reverse, so it didn't do the reverse in GIMP. Let's just see. Filter, artistic. Okay, so it doesn't do what it does in Photoshop, which is I would actually have almost a negative instead of the one that I currently have here. Alright, let's go back to this one, and let's go to colors and curves again, and this time on this photograph. Oops, sorry, I wasn't on the right layer. This is a good example of being on the right layer. Curves, and I'm going to tone it down a little bit, kind of darken it up a little bit, if you will. There we go. Brighten it up just a little bit. Certain areas, say OK. Okay, so now this is with curves, without curves, with curves, without curves. So you can see that I kind of darkened it up a bit. Alright, so I basically have showed you how to do a filter. There are lots of other filters here available to you. I would strongly suggest that you play around with this. They are quite fun. It's very interesting to see the different effects that they do. But so that I'm not taking up your time, I'll let you make the discoveries that these different things do, and see what you like with that. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and save this. Now I'll wait till the next tutorial for that. That should end this tutorial.